Hello, fifth graders. Mr. James back for your vocabulary and writing lesson. We're going to get right into it. Our first word from today's reading is going to be anchorage, and anchorage is found on page 49. Open up your books and find that word in your text. And, there it is. It is in the second paragraph. It says, Armitage joined the captain. 5 fathoms by the mark as we rowed in. Soft sand. The channel will prove a good anchorage. He gestured at the water with the rolled up maps in his hands. We should look for a favorable stretch of land for a wharf. So as he's talking there, he's discussing that the soft sand would be a good place for anchorage, and that they could use that as a wharf. So those are sort of definitely terms that deal with sailing or boating. And if we look at that word, we do see that the word anchor is in there. So I'm going to assume that it goes something like with the word anchor. And it's a good place for anchorage, which is probably a good place for them to put an anchor. So it is a place for a ship to place an anchor. You would definitely want something with soft sand or some not big, sharp rocks where you might damage your vessel. And so that's why they choose this particular location. And so the sentence I wrote, hold on, let me move my big head there. The sentence I wrote says, after the long journey, the captain returned the ship to the anchorage, and this delighted the passengers. So they returned it to the place where they could anchor. People were very happy to get off the boat at that point. As you notice, I used it as a noun in that sentence, a place where they can anchor. Go ahead and write your own sentence now. Welcome back. Our next word is the word tarry, and tarry is found on page 49 as well. And it is in the last paragraph. It says, Captain Booth nodded in agreement. Let us tarry here and survey the coastline. Then we will head inland. Now, if they're going to tarry there, that's probably the place we just talked about, that they were looking for somewhere that they could anchor. So I'm assuming it means that that's where they're going to land. And they're going to tarry there. Now, when you land, what do you need to do? Well, you probably need to find a place to put your boat. You probably also need to, tie that boat up so it doesn't float away. And in this case, tarry is actually how the rope is. It's covered with tar, and so they're talking about, it's a different term for the word tarry, but most likely you're going to find tarry as tarry, which is more meaning that they're covered with tar, which is probably where the rope was, what the rope was, and it was a good way of tying it up. And so tar and tarred are words that go along with that. And the sample sentence says, in the summer heat, the tarry road felt somehow soft and squished below my feet. So it's covered in tar. That means it's tarry, okay? Because roads are made of tar, and that's how asphalt is made. Go ahead and write your own sentence now. All right, and our last word is the word imploring, and imploring can be used as an adjective or a verb. In our text here, it is found on page 55. And on page 55, go ahead and open it up to your text and find that word in there. Maybe you found it before me. It's about, in the bottom half of the paragraph. I'm going to start where it says, he grasped. He grasped his daughter by the shoulders and pleaded with her to hurry back to the village, his voice urgent, imploring, and worried. They were in danger. Okay, so he's pleading with her to do this. He's meaning like saying, please do this. It's urgent. He's worried. So imploring definitely deals something with that. The idea that he's pleading, it's urgent. He wants her to do this. And it does, as we said, means to plead or beg. If you've implored someone to do something, you implore them to do something. And also it comes from the word explore. That's another morphological link. And our sample sentence is, the students were imploring Mrs. Garcia to let them play on the playground. Please, Mrs. Garcia, let us play on the playground. They're imploring her to do it. It's like pleading, begging, urgently. We need to do this, Mrs. Garcia. Go ahead and write your own sentence now. All right, and our right and response reading question deals with the reading on page 54 and 55 specifically, so go back and reread that section. And it says to write a paragraph describing the effects that the arrival of the two ships has on the people of the village, as well as its effect on Sarah. Remember, we're talking about cause and effect. So when they see the ships that are coming in, that is a cause. What effect does it have? What do they do because of that? How do they react when that happens? So you should write a paragraph in which you can describe that. You might begin with, when the people saw the ships arriving, they did blank. And then you can give some examples specifically from the text. For example, and then use a quote or a paraphrased answer from the text to support the answer that you've given. If you have questions or need anything, please reach out. I'm happy to help. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I will talk to you again soon.